Hello, and welcome to the latest HR on the Offensive Live. This is me, Chris Howard, dialing in from the not from the office. Aaron Alburey, who's joining me, is from the office. I'm dialing in from my office. Aaron, how you doing? You all right?
Very well, Chris. It's glad to know you know where you are today. It's always good. Good stuff.
Yeah. Always useful, always useful. So, Aaron, I wanted to take a little bit of time to have a chat with you today about our strap line. So this is an interesting one because we talk about ourselves at LACE Partners as being fundamentally different. And what I wanted to do for maybe just 5 minutes, 10 minutes on today's live stream is just unpick that a little bit. We've got a podcast which you and I have recently recorded, which will come out in a few weeks' time, where we go into a little bit more detail. But I wanted you to almost just set the scene for us a little bit. And in order to do that, I think we should really just focusing on this idea of when you set up the company, being fundamentally different. And what does that mean? So could you just give the people that are watching this video maybe just a minute or two around the genesis of that, what it means to be fundamentally different when you set up the company, what you think it also means as an organization, because lots of organizations talk about having USPs and, you know, oh, we're different to everyone else, but sometimes they find difficulty in articulating that. So I just wanted to get your kind of perspective on that for a few minutes.
Yeah, that's great to the chat with you. I think fundamentally different, as you say, the strapline is not strapline for the 10 years that we've been in existence. Our 10th year this year. We're enjoying our anniversary. And I guess when we set it out, we wanted to not only talk about how we felt we operated with our customers, but also create something that held us to account, I guess, to challenge ourselves as an organization as we were growing, to make sure that we were being fundamentally different, that we were trying new things, that we were being innovative, that we were approaching our engagement with our customers and clients in a different way, and different to, I guess, where we learned the consulting experiences we had in the past. So we've grown up. Kathy and I, Kathy's the CEO, as you know, and co-founder. We both grown up in big consultancy organizations, seen great things from them, great ways of operating and working. We'd also realized that for some of our customers in the HR space, those ways of working didn't work, and therefore we wanted to do it differently and approach it differently. And part of that is about doing it with expertise, bringing expertise to the table and being a specialist organization, but also different things that come to that banner of fundamentally different. I guess the key thing is 10 years on, it still holds true for us. It's still a big mantra, and it's a great how we operate with our customers.
Lovely. So let's talk about fundamentally different as it is now, because organizations, as well, we've got some strap lines, some I guess things that underpin that difference. We talk about our independence. We talk about how we're tech agnostic as an organization. We talk about how we're with somebody every step of the way. But can you just kind of maybe bring that to life a little bit more?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you say there's different ways we describe it and break it down. But one of the things I think that makes us fundamentally different is the mix of people that we have inside this organization. And part of that is we have consultants who have grown up in consultancy backgrounds doing nothing but HR transformation, payroll transformation, real passionate about it. But we also have HR professionals who have grown up in operational roles that have found their way to program delivery and project delivery, have found a real passion and love for that in their organizations and come into consulting later in their career. And I think that allows us to bring that sort of diversity of viewpoint, but also that empathy to our clients, how we work, how we engage, the fact that we understand what it takes to make this practically work. One of our big fundamentally different elements is keep ourselves pragmatic, keep ourselves practical, make it work. And there's a lot of us that just, I think, really enjoy seeing things to fruition and seeing things land well and be sustained. So yeah, I think that part of it is one. You mentioned independence is another. You know, we debate this a lot inside LACE on a regular basis. So you've been involved in some of those discussions yourself, Chris. Right? It's about how do we sustain that independence, how do we bring the right independent view to our customers. As challenging as that can be at times to move to that independent perspective. It's part of what makes us different, and it's what we strive to be and continue to strive to be as an organisation.
Love it. And just as a final kind of question, as we wrap up this quick live stream today, one of the interesting conversations that you and I have recently had is around how organizations or HR people that may be watching this are responsible for functions and for their HR team as a wider entity or operating within a business. And you talk about us being fundamentally different very much from a medium-sized business perspective, that kind of 100-person business perspective. But is there any advice that you could give to anybody watching this in terms of how they could perhaps make their business unit, and let's use, obviously, because we are a HR consultancy, let's use HR as that function. Any bits of advice they could give into how they could start thinking, okay, well, how can we be fundamentally different as a HR team?
And I love this question, but it's also a tricky question. Every HR function in a business is slightly different. I don't want to just give generic advice, but I think there are a few things that we hear from CPOs, from HR leaders, consistently. One is customer at the heart of what they do, and besides that real customer centricity, that voice of the customer really helping prioritize the work, so that what is delivered, and sometimes that's very broadly, that's not just employees, that's leaders, that's managers as well. Sometimes that's also candidates, right? It's understanding those interactions and how to make those add value to the organizations. That's one really staying centered on that outcome. I think the other is, we hear this again across the piece of functions that are very high performing, and that's that commerciality. So that really centered on what is the outcome that we're trying to achieve as a business, and what is our role to enable that, what's our role to guide the business towards that, and how do we stay commercial, both in terms of looking after our own spend and our own costs, and do that in a way that we understand is adding value and justifying, but also how do we help people be more productive in their work, how do we help people be more deliver more through the business and produce the outcomes that the organisation is actually trying to achieve. And there's lots of ways people functions enable that in organisations. So between those two things, keeping a real listen to the voice of the customer in its broadest sense to help prioritise and staying really close to the commercials of the business, those two elements, I think, whether you're running an organisation like LACE or whether you're running a business unit of an HR function, those two things hold really true. I think the third element that we've talked about before, Chris, is careers, and how you manage careers inside your business unit. How do you help people have a good, fundamentally different experience of their career in HR as they progress through your organisation, and how do you grow that talent in the future? Which we could do another whole podcast on. Maybe we'll do in the future.
We could definitely do a whole other live stream or podcast on that as well. But we are out of time for today. Aaron, it's been amazing, as always, having a little bit of time with you, chatting through that, unpicking that whole idea about being fundamentally different. But thank you very much for joining us on the live stream today.
Welcome, Chris. Thank you.
Lovely. And hopefully you've enjoyed it. And hopefully we're going to catch you next time on the HR on the Offensive Live. Bye-bye.